Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Genova. In this video, we're gonna continue checkpoint series for a physics part, explaining the concept of thermal and power stations. Most of it is multiple choice. As usual, we're gonna explain if we have anything to be explained. First question says, which method of heat transfer doesn't require particles or matter? So, no conduction, no convection, must be radiation. Question 2. When the metal spoon is placed with one end in a hot tea, after a few minutes, the handle end of the spoon becomes warm. What is the main method of heat transfer through the metal spoon? Metal spoon which is solid, so the way will be conduction, not convection, must be conduction via particles, vibration, and free electrons movement. Question 3. Heat transfer by convection occurs in convection, we explained before, it happens in liquids and gases, so it's B. Question 4. When substances are heated, which of the following generally expand most toward the same temperature rise? The expanding more, that means molecules are more free to move. When they heated, they expand faster and have enough space to expand weak intermolecular intermolecular forces to be held together, so must be gases. Question 5. Mercury thermometer works on a principle of, for a mercury we explained before, it changing the volume. Thermometer, mercury bulb here, so this expanding by expanding of the volume of the mercury itself. So mercury is changing color with temperature? No. Thermal expansion? Yeah, mercury expands and rises due when the temperature increases. I'm gonna go for B. Question 6. Which statement is correct? Temperature is measured in joules. No, temperature, I know that, it's Celsius. B. Temperature indicates how hot or cold sometimes something else. Yeah, how hot or cold object or anything is the indicator for amount of heat. So while heat is thermal energy measured in joules, yeah, I'm gonna go for it. Question 7. The black surface, yeah, the black, best emitter, best absorber, emits and absorb infrared radiation better than shiny, yeah, surely. Question 8. In vacuum flask thermos, vacuum between double walls primarily prevent heat transfer by, we explained this question before. In previous video you can check conduction and convection. Water is boiling in a pot on a stove. How does heat goes from the bottom of the water to the top? From the bottom to the top by surely convection current. Mainly by conduction? No, conduction is here. Convection currents, yeah, but water rises and water sinks. So it's B. Question 10. On a cold morning, a metal door handle feels much colder to touch than a wooden door, even though they are at the same air temperature. And why? Why? For metal handle will be colder than wooden handle. Because metal is actually at a lower temperature. Now, we told you at the same air temperature. So it cannot be A. What generates its own heat? Cannot be. Metal conducts heat away from your hand faster than one. So your hand loses heat and you feels cold. Just pay attention. Here, for a metal, which is at a normal temperature, and your hand, at which is a higher temperature in the morning. And the heat transfer from hot object to cold object. So heat will transfer from your hand to metal. That means your hand lose energy. That's why you feel cold. We feel cold because we lose energy. And the metal is a good conductor, so it's easy to take energy of you. So the C is a correct answer. Question 11. A bar of metal, which is a good thermal conductor, is heated at one end. What is the main method of transfer of a thermal energy along the bar? Along the bar, solid must be conductor, which is vibration of atoms. Yeah, atom vibrates, which is called lattice vibration. But I need you to focus on one thing, which is he told you here what is the main method. Vibration happens, yeah, but heat not transferring by vibration. Movement of atoms, no. Atoms can vibrate, particles can vibrate, but cannot move, cannot change their place, along with solids. But if you remember, if you have a bar, this bar has molecules here. These molecules have electrons that can transfer along the bar. This is the reason for flowing of heat. So for C, free electrons gaining energy and transferring it by collision, electron diffusion. Yeah, it's C. Question 12. Which of these is not valid method to reduce heat loss from house in a cold region? You are in a house here, which has some windows. Okay, what you gonna do? Installing fiberglass insulation in walls. If you did a fiberglass here, your home is a higher temperature inside that touches the wall, and this will reduce conduction when you use a fiberglass, which is back conductor or insulator. Yeah, it will work. If you use the double glazed windows, traps air, reducing conduction and convection. Yeah, because when you and it actually happens for most of cold regions, there is a windows with a double glass. Why? To prevent heat loss by radiation. So A will work, B will work. For C, drug-proofing doors prevent cold air infiltration, which is will work properly to prevent cold air to infiltration to enter the home. So C will work also. For D, painting exterior walls black to absorb heat, which is the baddest decision ever. It's a worst decision. Why? Because black, while it can absorb heat very well, but at the same time it will release heat super perfect. So cannot be D. D, he cannot do that. It's not valid method to do that to his own. Question 13. When a person sweats, the sweat evaporates and the person feels cooler. When the person sweats, it has a hot water on his skin. This hot water, it has his internal heat, his heat energy, which is excess heat. What's gonna happen? Sweat absorb cold from air? No, cold cannot be absorbed. Evaporation of sweat uses heat from skin, removing thermal energy and cooling the body. Yeah, by removing this hot water over your skin, you release the heat and your body getting cold. So I'm gonna go for it. Question 14. In geothermal power stations, heat is collected from deep underground where hot rocks and water exist near the Earth's surface. What type of energy is used in geothermal power station? In geothermal power station, we know that it's not solar or wind, it's thermal energy from underground. Question 15. Hot water or steam from underground is brought to the surface and used to spin a turbine from underground, so it must be geothermal. Which drives a generator? What is the correct energy transfer in geothermal power station? In geothermal power station, do we have chemical? No. Is it heat? Yeah, heat from underground rocks to kinetic, which is movement of steam, into electrical by a generator, so it must be electrical, so I'm gonna go for B. Question 16. Not all places in the world can use geothermal power station because it needs hot rocks close to the Earth's surface. Where are geothermal power stations usually built? In a flat and dry desert, you need to dig a lot, so cannot be A. In a volcanic area with the hot underground rocks, yeah, must be. Geothermal power stations don't burn fuel and produce a little pollution. However, they are still have some effects on the environment. Which of the following is possible disadvantage of geothermal power station? It releases a lot of smoke. No, it releases heat only. And he told you here, produce a little pollution. It increases the greenhouse gas effect. No, there is no any greenhouse gas. It just boil water that turns into steam and make turbine spin and all this stuff. For C, it may release harmful gas from underground, maybe, or cause small ground movement. Yeah, this one of geothermal power station is advantage for a long time. The reason a long time. So it's C. Question 18. The town compares geothermal energy to solar and wind. Solar and wind depends on the weather, but geothermal energy does not. What is the one advantage of geothermal power compared to solar and wind? Geothermal energy is not renewable. No, geothermal energy is one of the renewable resources. B. It can generate electricity day and night. Yeah, so it has an advantage more than sun or solar energy. Not just when the sun shines, yeah, or the wind blows. We cannot wait the wind to blow. So it can be B. And that's why we say geothermal is a reliable source. It can be useful most of time. We can at any time get electricity from it. Question 19. An engineer proposes installing turbines at the Costa Bay, where water rushes in and out with the tides. So with the tides, and so it must be tidal power station. From spins turbine generate electricity. What kind of the power station? It's tidal. Question 20. Another idea is to place floating devices of the coast. These devices move up and down with the waves and use that motion to generate electricity. So, by using waves, what's happening there? We have waves at the coast. This coast, we build a chamber here. It's a chamber, sorry, yeah, chamber allow waves to enter. When they enter, they hit the rocks very hard. Then what's happening? They make the air column here. This air moves up and down, connected to turbine, turbine here that is spinning, connected to a generator to generate electricity. So it's a wave power station. In the mountains, a river flows down through a dam. Water stored in the reservoir flows through a large pipes, then stops to spin turbines and generate electricity. What kind of energy is converted into electrical energy? The flowing of water through a reservoir here. This is a GBE, gravitational potential energy of the water moves down to kinetic energy of water, make turbine spin. So it's the kinetic energy of the wind? No. See, it's a kinetic energy, but not of water, not the wind. If it's a water, it can be accepted. It's heat energy from the sun? No. For C, gravitational potential energy of the water? Yeah, it's mainly by gravitational potential energy, which is converted to kinetic energy, mechanical energy, or kinetic energy to turbine. Question 22. Both tidal and hydroelectric power stations use moving water to spin turbines, but there is one major difference: hydroelectric dams use rivers, while tidal stations use strong rainfall, no. Rising and falling sea levels of which sides? Yeah, it's B. Question 23. With power stations produce electricity without producing smoke or harmful gases. However, they are only used in some parts of the world. What is the one reason why with power stations are not widely used? They are illegal in most countries. Well, we prefer to use now renewable energy sources, so it cannot be A. They only work well in oceans with strong waves. Yeah, this can be accepted. So I'm gonna go for You have to make your mind work. You have to think carefully for each single choice that can work with your answer. Question 24. Hydroelectric dams are powerful and renewable, but they also affect nature. What is one disadvantage of building large hydroelectric dams? Option A. It always breaks down during the dry seasons. No. B. It can flood forests and animal habitats. C. Here, if you have a big reservoir and at any case or any natural disaster happen and this reservoir breaks down or cracked, so a huge water will flood, will damage forests, flood forests and animal habitats. Yeah, so it's good. Question 25. All three of these power stations, tidal, wave, hydroelectric, share common feature. What do they all use to generate electricity? They use for tidal wave hydroelectric, three of them comes from water movement. So heat energy, no. The movement of water, yeah. So we're gonna go for B. Question 26. The town is considering building something from 26. I think they will be connected questions. Let's start. The town is considering building a new power plant that generates electricity by burning fuel to heat water. Burning fuel, any fossil fuel, coal, natural gas, oil. The steam produced will then turn turbines. Which type of power station work in this way? This type of power station must be coal-fired power station as a fossil fuel. Question 27. Another proposal suggests that using the movement of air to spin turbine. Movement of air, I can go for wind or wave power station. But wave, it's basically by water makes the air move, so I'll not go for wave, I'll go for wind. Okay, you must understand what you are talking about, or what's the question says to you. And generate electricity, what form of energy does the wind turbine primarily use? As the movement of air, so it's a chemical energy? No. Kinetic energy? Yeah, it's a kinetic here. Question 28. Some engineers recommend building hydroelectric dam on a nearby river. Okay, hydroelectric power station. However, environmental scientists warn about possible negative effects. Which of the following is disadvantage of building a large hydroelectric dam? We just explained this question, like question like that before. It never needs brain to operate. So no, it can flood large areas stream affecting habitats. Yeah, so I'm gonna go for B. Question 29. An alternative suggestion is nuclear power station. Wow, which doesn't release carbon dioxide. It's true. During a normal operation, some citizens worry about the danger, but others see its benefit. Which of the following is advantage of nuclear power station? For nuclear power station, they have a lot of. advantage. Big one is emits no greenhouse gas. Yeah, fuel is unlimited and renewable. Is this fuel renewable and unlimited? No. Always very cheap to build? Actually, no. They are a little bit expensive. Has no radioactive waste. Is this one the advantage? No. So I'm gonna go for A. They don't green any greenhouse gas. But in any disaster like a Chernobyl disaster, well, will be very harmful to most people. Question 30. The town gets plenty of sunshine year round. So some members are council proposing installing solar panels on the rooftops and in solar farms. Which form of energy is produced by solar panel? Solar panel, look, it's basically to release electrical energy. One of its effects is thermal. Yeah, thermal, very, very accepted. But while he gives you here solar farms and the main of using solar panels, so I'm gonna go for electrical energy. The town wants to reduce pollution as much as possible. They ask which of these power stations produce the least air pollution, which power plant has the lowest air pollution of them, coal, natural gas, nuclear, cannot be. I'm gonna go for wind. Question 32. Finally, last question. The town wants to focus on the renewable energy sources that don't run out quickly, which is a form is not renewable. Solar energy, nope, it's renewable. Geothermal, nope, it's renewable. Biomass from plants or crops, it's renewable. Oil or petroleum, it's non-renewable. So, for fill the blanks, convection can occur in which states of matter? In liquid, surely liquid, and gas, which are called fluids. For two, a dull black surface is a very good absorber and emitter of heat radiation. And by this, we are done now with this worksheet. See you next time with IG Nova with more worksheets and past papers of IGCSEs and checkpoints. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.